I watched the G ones, episode 1, 2, and 3. They're a thing.
Hey, I mentioned this to you in text, but I love the part where it's like showing the series of shots of Teletran 1 reviving all of the Autobots, and it like wakes up to Optimus Prime, and you see this quick cut of him just being like, "Thanks."
Thanks. It
And
moves
then it
so
cuts to the like,
fast.
doo-doo-doo-doo.
Alert. Quantum surge detected. Vector 597.
Transformers, robotic life forms born far across the galaxy on the planet Cybertron. Two groups of their forces crashed on an unknown planet. A quantum surge then changed the Beast Warriors into Transmetals, who are joined by new comrades. Now, the Beast Wars rage on!
Too much energon.
Good evening, Predacons! Welcome back to Too Much Energon, a Lasercomb podcast where we review every episode of Beast Wars ever in production order. Starting from the beginning, I am one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
And I am your other host, NeoCal.
And this week on Too Much Energon, we have a leader class size episode as we are reviewing The Agenda, parts 1, 2, and 3, the 3-part season finale of season 2. They originally aired on March 11th, 12th, and 13th, 1998. And I'm actually looking at
the season finale.
Yeah,
Shit,
I'm actually looking at the release dates for the later episodes of season 2. So Code of Hero aired on March 9th, Transmutate on March 10th, and The Agenda Part 1, 2, and 3 were on March 11th, 12th, and 13th. That would have been a fucking wild week.
Right? As a kid?
Yeah.
Can you even imagine?
Like, I don't think YTV in Canada, because for the listeners, we've mentioned numerous times that we're Canadians. I don't think YTV aired them all, like, boom, boom, boom like that. I think it aired them week to week.
Yeah, YTV did.
Yeah. But yeah, what a wild week of Beast Wars television.
Wow, can you imagine?
And
then having to wait.
Yeah. And then having to wait until, like, October of 1998.
Oh, God.
You know, like, looking at the gap of time between seasons of this show, not only this show, but, like, Reboot as well. Listeners, we do another show just like this called Alphanumeric, where we review every episode of Mainframe Entertainment's other show from the era, Reboot. But, like, I remember seeing these season finales, and then it feeling like a fucking eternity until the, like, season premiere would roll around. Like, it would just feel like so long, and now I'm looking at it, and it's like, oh, it was like 6 months.
Well, the thing is, when you're a kid, like, let's say you're a 10-year-old kid, everybody goes, oh, when you get older, time moves faster. Well,
yeah, because
it feels like it does.
Yeah, your perception of time is relative to how much time you've experienced.
Exactly. So 1 year when you're 10 years old is 10% of your life.
Yeah.
When you're 30, it's 1 year is 1/30th. Right? That's why, like, summers lasted forever and you came back to school and you're like, I don't remember how to do math. So, like, 6 months when you're a kid, man, come back to watching it and you'll be like, I remember this show. I hope that I can keep up with it. It's been so long, as you stroke your child imaginary beard.
And you tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Because Transmetals don't need to go into beast mode.
Nope. And a thing that is we've talked about on recent episodes of this show, but it's definitely confirmed in this episode that Transmetals don't short out from raw energon. Meanwhile, vanilla Transformers do. But we'll get to that when we come to it.
Yes.
So to get the ball rolling, the episode opens in space.
In space.
The final frontier.
There's a big old wave.
Yeah, we open on the transwarp explosion that happened at the end of season 1, the Planet Buster being blown up, and we even see like chunks of Optimus's body flying through space amongst the rubble.
Do we?
Yeah.
I thought that was a piece of something, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, different pieces too. Like we see like one of his leg, like part of his leg, like fly by through the debris. Just to really like hammer that in.
So yeah, to let us know, hey, by the way, like the Optimus you see is like robot Jesus.
Yeah.
That one died. The old one died.
Hey kids, did you forget that a year ago Optimus fucking died? Well, here's a reminder. Parts of his desecrated corpse. So we cut to the
one thing that the computer, yeah, we cut to the bridge of the Axelon.
Yeah.
I remember how I had brought up to you. I was like, I know we watched the 80s movie, the Transformers movie, right? Yep. And I watched a few episodes of G1 to get caught up on the buildup of the lore, right?
Yeah.
I've watched War for Cybertron on Netflix, and I was like, is Cybertron floating in space? And you and I talked about it. Maybe it was last week or the week before.
Yeah, we definitely talked about
like,
it recently.
Maybe it's near a star, or maybe it's free floating in space. In this shot right here, we see that it is orbiting a star, and there are 2 other planets orbiting a star as well.
Interesting.
And Cybertron, Rhinox is like looking at the system, right? And it actually looks like Cybertron is orbiting in like a different plane than the normal planets. Like it was purposely, like, for example, how do I word this? I don't know my astronomy terms, but like this is the sun, right? And to the left and right, all the planets orbit on more or less one plane, right? I think it's something like Uranus or Neptune is a little bit skewed or tilted or whatever. But when it doesn't line up with that and it goes like vertical to, let's say, the horizontal, that's usually when it's an artificial capture. It's when an asteroid or a planet or whatever was captured and now it's in a stable orbit, and it captured it like from something free floating through space. And I noticed Cybertron was doing that here, which means that if it was made, right, which if it was made, then they purposely made it skewed off the plane.
We find out more about the origins of Cybertron in Beast Machines, but I don't really remember.
Okay. So,
I don't.
Whoa.
I don't really remember the details, though.
Okay. Well, I'll save all my hypothesizes for then. I almost killed myself here, gesturing wildly. There we go.
Sometimes I just kill myself.
And come back as a trans metal. So yeah, basically everyone on the Axelon is super hyped because help is going to come.
Yeah, so the Rhinox explains that the transwarp wave is traveling through space and is going to hit Cybertron pretty soon. So obviously this transwarp wave is traveling through time, because as we're soon going to find out, they've gone back in time millions of years. Not 4 million years, but they are definitely at some point between the 4 million year mark, where the Autobots and Decepticons crash landed on Earth. Spoilers for the end of this episode, I guess. So they are somewhere between the 4 million year mark and 1984. And given the fact that humanity is only kind of just sort of getting started, I'm guessing they're probably at least like 250,000 years in the past,
or more. It's hard to
say, but that's kind of my guess as someone who took a few anthropology classes. I'm not saying
Okay.
I'm saying I'm not I'm no expert at all, but that's my kind of educated
200. Okay, so they're close to the dawn of mankind.
guess. Yeah, yeah.
Or sorry, closer to the dawn of mankind as compared to when the Autobots, like
Yeah.
in G1, they crash on Earth
4
long
million years
before-
ago, yeah.
long before, way before humanity is there. Everyone gets knocked out
Yeah.
and they're woken up when humanity is in like, what do you call the 80s? Not the age of information, the diamond age. I don't know what you call it.
The Reagan era.
Yeah, that's in historical terms. That's what it will be known as.
They wake up in the Reagan era. In Reagan's America, damn it. But yeah, so obviously this transwarp wave is able to go
It's
through
going
time.
in the past.
Well, it's going into the future. Because
Because the trans warped into the past in the first place.
yeah, and they're on Earth, say roughly 250,000 years ago, but the Cybertron that they come from is 300 years from now. So this quantum surge is going forward into the future at an accelerated rate.
300 years from the present.
Yes.
On the show.
From the
Okay,
from the
so-
present, from like our time, because
So-
they've mentioned in the past that the Great War between the Autobots and Decepticons happened 3 centuries ago.
Okay.
And Transformers the movie was set in 2005. So we'll say they're from roughly the early 24th century, which would place them around the same time as Star Trek: The Next Generation, incidentally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Coincidence?
Hmm.
I mean, we know
Crossover.
the guys at Mainframe like Star Drunk.
That's true.
But yeah, anyway, so transwarp wave, the quantum surge, traveling into the future. And yeah, basically they're like, Rhinox is like, oh, yeah, Cybertron's going to detect it. They'll send help. We're going home. And then the Maximals all start dancing. And Optimus and Cheetor are like dancing like arm in arm with one another. It looks hysterical. And
so why do they think that that's a good thing? Is it because the Maximals are like in charge, kind of? Like there's like an uneasy peace?
yeah, the Maximals are kind of the ruling class on Cybertron, and the Predacons are Republicans.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so the Maximals will be able on Cybertron will be able to detect the location of the Axelon from this transwarp explosion, presumably.
Well, if they're from the future, right? Like, and you said roughly 300-ish years.
Yeah.
Then you could say that maybe Cybertron is 300 light years away. Because if the transwarp wave is like gravitational waves or like photons or whatever.
Yes, but remember,
it would
though,
make sense that it goes into the future.
Yeah, but
naturally.
Remember, though, where they are now on Earth is about, like I said, roughly about 250,000 years ago.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'm sure people listening are like, "Cal, you idiot! Haven't you been paying attention?" Yeah,
I was trying to explain all of this to my partner the other day while we went out for dinner, and I was trying to explain it to her, and even she.
And you were like that meme with the.
I even referenced that. Because she was like,
that from
the meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny, with like the like conspiracy board behind him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did you get it? Was she like, "Oh, okay, it all makes sense"?
She was having trouble with it for a while. and then eventually I think she
And then
she
you
got
started. You were on bleh, bleh. You were at Montana's, so you took out the crayons and you started drawing
it. Oh,
drawing a timeline.
if only.
Maybe we should make one and post it on Twitter.
Yeah, there you go.
One must already exist.
I'm sure.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm
Yes,
sure there's
everybody's.
I'm sure there's an official Transformers timeline out there, probably tied to War for Cybertron. Honestly,
So
I
they're
mean
going
the
home.
I mean the Earthrise action figures like actually come with a like the inside of the box comes with a piece of a map of the galaxy,
Oh,
and it even like like it even like on one part of it, because like I don't have all the Earthrise figures, so like I'll never have the completed map myself, but like I've seen people post them online, and like one section of the map like even references the aliens from this show as Homeworld.
oh, wild.
Yeah, I know, right?
Somebody knows something.
Somebody. Hasbro. They have all the
So-
answers.
Rhinox hacked into the Matrix to find out when Cybertron would receive the transwarp signal because it's shooting crazy fast through space and time.
Mm,
But Megatron knows too, right?
yeah.
With his computer.
Yeah. I mean, they both have access to the same information, like
Makes sense.
just scanning space. Oh, the quantum surge is traveling through space and time, and presumably, like both of their computers can like come up with like simulations.
They're more advanced than ours, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they know how transwarp signals work more than our own.
Yeah, exactly.
And
There-
so in Transformers, like, because what did Rhinox say? He says it in one of these episodes. Transwarp capabilities are relatively new. Like, this is something that is relatively new to the Transformers. No?
Later on, when Beast Wars Megatron plays the video playback of G1 Megatron, G1 Megatron references that transwarp technology is being developed.
Oh, even back then.
Yeah, yeah. Which
Oh,
I have
okay.
things to say about that.
Right.
I have things to say about that, but we'll wait till we get there. There's
Okay.
there's a like amusing little exchange on the bridge here between Rat Trap and Silverbolt, where Rat Trap's like basically
Oh God, this. Yeah.
basically telling Silverbolt he's essentially going to take him to a titty bar,
Yeah.
and
And what does he say? He's like, oh,
he's like
the
the
female
he's like the servant
does he
bots
say?
are walking around without their chest
Without
plates covered.
chest plates. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
And Silverbolt like looks at him like,
Yeah, basically. And then Cheetor, it's
Cheetor's
just
like,
like,
what are you guys talking about?
forget that. We're gonna go to the water park.
I'm with Cheetor. Go to the fucking water park on Cybertron, man. It'd be fucking wild.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not both? Come
Go
on,
to-
live a little.
Go to the water park and then go to the titty bar. Like,
Yeah. Why limit yourself?
yeah,
When we jump to the dark side, it's just Megatron and Inferno.
yeah.
And he asks, well, have you figured out anything about the humans in the valley? The early humans in the valley?
Yeah.
And Inferno says, our attack seems to have caused several tribes to scatter, your royalty.
Yeah.
So they didn't forget about them, because you and I had talked about it, and we were like, what's stopping them from just going and killing off the humans another day?
Yeah. So I like that
But-
they're at least addressing that. Inferno says that because they've scattered so much in various different directions, basically, like, it'll be impossible to track them all down.
That's interesting. So if the timeline is inevitable, right? It's almost like the attack on them was supposed to happen because early like proto men did spread out. And let's say this is, like I said, I don't know anything about anthropology, but let's say this is the like some of them become Neanderthal and some of them become like the pygmy humans and some of them become Homo sapiens or whatever.
Homo erectus.
Or yeah, and maybe that's when they scatter and they start to become these different like proto humans. Like this was like the predecessor, or these are all actually just humans. I mean, they don't look like it. They look.
No, these are one of our predecessors, like probably Homo erectus, honestly.
So we're not that far back.
No.
This isn't millions of years. Like you said, you prophesized that it was theorized that it was like 250,000 years ago.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not an expert, so if anyone
You know
watching
what?
or listening to this
Neither-
knows better, like that's just as me who did like a year and a half of anthropology in university, like that's just my rough estimate.
Actually,
Maybe
that's a good point.
250,000 years.
If you're listening and you know about this kind of thing and it's inaccurate or accurate, you can email us and let us know.
Yeah, too much energon at outlook.com.
We know as much as the show writers do.
Yeah, probably.
But my point was it'd be cool if like fate is inevitable and the reason mankind spread out across the globe was because of this Predacon attack.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to
Well, then
think about.
it's implied at the end of Code of Hero that that man discovered like weapon usage
Tools. Yeah.
because
or, like
of,
weapons. Yeah.
yeah. Well, weapons specifically.
Because of Dinobot.
Because of Dinobot.
Ah!
Yeah.
Fucking beat that snake's ass down.
Gary Chalk. Speaking of Gary Chalk, and I'll get into this more later. I really like he's always like consistently good, but like especially I think in the second and third episodes, like actually especially in the second episode, like when he brings Silverbolt into the office to basically chastise him. Like that's probably some of the best voice acting I've heard from him on this show.
I like that scene.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But where are we here? Oh, Inferno's like, hey, I have one more high risk like plan like tucked away in my pocket.
Oh yeah, Megatron.
And Inferno's like, oh, what's that? And he just kind of like opens up a video as it like a security cam as it follows Black Arachnia out of the base.
Yeah.
So he doesn't say, but if you're watching along with us this far, you know that like Inferno has kind of taken Scorponok's role as his right hand man. He tells him like everything. He schemes with him. He completely trusts him.
Yeah. And I've noticed Inferno has become a little less insane as a result. He's become a little less bleh. Bleh.
I disagree. He does something really dumb that leads to his own demise in this
Later
three-parter.
on, yeah.
So
Yeah, and we never find out his fate too. So it's like, is he just dead?
For no reason.
Like we don't see him
We'll
again.
get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, season finale.
Yeah.
So Megatron
so
says
we're
basically he has like one more high risk maneuver to play.
Mm-hmm.
Except he doesn't because like the next thing he tries doesn't work. So he's like, oh, actually, I have one more move to play. Cheers.
Maybe one more. Okay, fuck it. I'll make it up as.
Time for a mulligan.
Yeah. So we get a scene where there's like noble music playing with Silverbolt flying through the air gracefully, and he goes to this like rocky like mountaintop, and there's kind of like a little pond there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
somebody sneaks up on him.
Yeah, somebody sneaks up on him. It's obviously Black Arachnia, because who else is it going to be? And they have this like
She's like, "Are you carrying a graviton generator?" Maximal. He's like, "Both."
yeah, and they
So it's quite obvious now because he like turns around, grabs her by the waist, and just manhandles her gun out of her hand. And he's
yeah,
like, "Why the weapon?"
yeah. And
So
she's like, "Oh, I thought you were into that." No, but they
yeah,
no they have
obviously a
like
thing.
they have like a little back and forth where it's implying that they've kind of got a thing going on, and
Definitely got a thing going on.
yeah, and Silverbolt brought her something. Do you know what this thing is that he brought her?
Graviton emitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what makes zip boards work.
Oh, actually, that kind of makes sense because
Because they're from the stasis pods.
yeah, and later on we see that she's converted hollowed out a stasis pod and converted it into basically like a hover
A
dinghy.
hover dinghy. Yeah, a hover thing.
Okay, so that makes. I didn't put that together when I watched this
That's
earlier.
the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they have the terror boards back at base. But presumably those don't work outside the dark side. Those are
Maybe,
like
yeah.
electrically like maintained.
I guess that makes sense, yeah, because we've never seen them used outside of the ship at all.
No.
And and like
So
the terror boards can be operated remotely, like in the ship, like by voice command in the ship. Like we've
yeah,
seen
they can
that in
come
an
to you.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Summon Pluckful.
this thing is helps her make her hover boat. You said it, rest hover dinghy.
That's
Later
what
on.
it is, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And they have like a little back and forth, and he's like, "So something interesting. You said that you think that at this point in the timeline, Maximals and Predacons are just kind of like political factions, more so than different types of Transformers."
different races. Yeah, that's how I like to look at it. I don't know if that's
And
actually
that
like
well, that
canon.
makes sense because they can reprogram the protoforms to be Predacons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when Silverbolt's talking to Black Arachnia here, he says, "Hey, like, come to Cybertron, like, with me."
We have
And
snacks.
she's all, "Yeah, we can bone there too, right?" And where's my too much energon? Yeah, so if they were from the same race though, then they wouldn't need to be reprogrammed as a Predacon or a Mac or left as a Maximal, right?
Mm.
You could just wake up and be like, "Hello, you're on my side now," which is what happened to the Fusors.
Yeah.
Because remember, they weren't either. They chose which side to be on.
Yeah.
Like Megatron showed up and he's like, "You're on my side. Don't you remember? Oh, that's right. Your memory circuits were fried." And
Welcome, my
Silverbolt
new
was like,
Predacons.
"This feels icky. I don't like you guys."
And meanwhile, Quick Strike is just like, yeehaw!
When do I get to shoot stuff?
What in tarnation?
So he says, Silverbolt says to Black Arachnia here, "Hey, you can be reprogrammed as a Maximal, no problem." And she says, "No, I like being bad."
And you like it too.
And part of you deep inside likes it too. So I'm like, reprogram? How much does that change you? Because
Yeah.
is reprogramming just changing your voice activation.
Yeah, it's kind
Or
of weird.
it's nebulous? Yeah, you think so too?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to briefly touch on that to see if you knew something I I didn't. Well, I think they do have a different nature. Do you know what I mean? Like they're scheming, they're ambitious. Um, they're a little bit more cruel. They like battle
Yeah.
because they descended from Decepticons, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't that mean they are different races, sort of? No?
Well, the Autobots and Decepticons began as one race originally. They all began as Decepticons, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, they all began as Decepticons. They were built by the Quintessons to essentially be slave labor. And they rebelled. They
Right.
rebelled
Those
against.
losers.
Yeah, they rebelled against their creators, and then, due to an ideological split, they broke off into the Autobots were born. It's kind of like what happened between the Vulcans and the Romulans in Star Trek.
Yeah, there's been so much time separated that they became a different like race.
Technically, yeah. Although, like they share a common lineage, and it was essentially boiled down to a ideological split that divided them.
So how much of on Beast Wars, how much do you think an odd time for me to get like ask these philosophical questions when we're trying to wing through these, but how much do you think their personality is from being a Predacon or from being a Maximal versus based on the animal that they chose for their beast mode? I feel like the animal is like at least 50% of their personality.
Well, we've seen that their beast modes do influence their personality. So,
And do you think that the Maximals and the Predacons that arrived on the planet, I don't think that their personality was changed by their creature. I think they chose an animal that they thought matched their personality. But the protoforms, when they woke up, I feel like their personalities were determined by what animal was scanned.
yeah, it makes
Do
sense.
you feel like that?
Yeah,
Just random things like that would pop up in my head.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. And in that case, I don't know what the Predacons and the Maximals are like back on Cybertron, but in this case it makes sense, right? Like a lot of the Predacons are predators. And a lot of the Maximals are mammals, which have emotions, which have like pack mentality, which have compassion and stuff.
Yeah. Warm-blooded versus cold-blooded.
That's a good point. Insects and like reptiles, right?
Yep.
All right. Oh, made me think of Bird Mom, but she gone. Man, the fuck happened to her?
She is.
Oh, she's right there. That's where
she's
she
right
went.
here. If you're
That is a
listening to
rad
this
one.
in audio, listeners, I am holding up a War for Cybertron Kingdom Air Razor figure. This just came out. It's actually one of the best Kingdom figures.
It looks pretty rad.
Yeah.
Oh, and the wings fold back behind her. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks pretty rad.
Yeah, it's a great figure. It's her and Optimus Primal are my two favorite
Yes.
Kingdom figures so far.
They're pretty rad. Yeah. So sorry about that deviating from the plot here, but
Hey, it's what we're here
I
for.
have some philosophical questions. You know what? Maybe I'll write some of them down, and if we ever do like a wrap up, we can dive into those like questions more separately when we're not covering a gigantic 3-part episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, Christopher. Maybe this episode wasn't the time to bring that shit up.
Oh, we'll definitely do a. I definitely want to do a like special like Beast Wars 25th anniversary wrap up episode. Once we're done with this.
Nice, perfect.
And that can be our Snyder Cut episode. Our like
That
4
could be
hour
our Snyder cut.
4 hour long podcast
We
where
just
we just
bullshit about whatever we want.
yeah for
Candace,
hours. Yeah,
Bring her in here.
get like several guests on the podcast like at different times, you know.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, be like, hey,
That's a good idea.
Join in like mid recording. Oh, you've only got like 20 minutes to chat. Cool. Once you're gone,
Yeah,
we'll
it'll be
bring
like
someone
the
else
Tonight
in.
Show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good thinking.
Yeah. Spitballing
So,
ideas here.
Yeah.
Speaking
where were we?
Speaking of
Right.
spitball, and the quantum surge takes out a some kind of like satellite, and we go.
I thought you were gonna talk about Silverbolt kissing Black Arachnia. You were like, speaking of spitballing.
Oh yeah, they kissed.
Yeah.
Um,
And she's like, now call me mommy, and he's like, Anyways, the quantum surge like
yeah, the quantum surge
smashes a
fucks up
space station.
a Cybertronian space station. We'll find out very quickly that it's a Predacon space station, and we see a bunch of like kind of low light shots of like kind of
Just tripping over each other like in a Star Trek
of like
scene.
robots like falling all over the place, like
Yeah.
in some
It's
action
like you're not
poses.
supposed to run around. When
Oh yeah. One literally
It's like
trips
running when
over
there's an
one that
earthquake.
falls over.
It's like running when there's an earthquake or a fire. They clearly haven't been trained.
And so we cut to a room, presumably on this station, of a poker table with like a little overhead lamp.
Interrogation lamp?
Yeah.
What is with the shaky? I know it's for dramatic effect to show off their lighting and shadows.
Yeah.
It's just this shitty like little like lamp from like the 70s like swinging back and forth.
Yeah. And we get some new shit here. We got these three they don't even look like Transformers to me, to be perfectly honest.
My
But
partner said that.
I guess they
She's
are.
like, what the fuck are these red guys? And I'm like, the Predacon Elite, I guess.
The Tripredacus Council. I don't think they're red, it's just the lighting.
I thought the lighting was white.
No,
Yeah, the lighting's white and they're red.
No, they
because the lighting hits them and it looks white.
No, they put their hands over these like red lights in front of them that illuminate, and they illuminate red onto them.
Oh. Okay, well whatever. They're red, gross-looking dudes.
Yeah, they're weird looking.
They're cool, but they're weird.
They look like something out of a like the opening FMV sequence of like a Diablo clone from like 1996.
That's awfully specific, but I know exactly what you mean. Came out after Diablo 1, but before Diablo 2.
Exactly,
Some sort
yeah.
of cutscene, yeah.
Yeah, some like cheap like knockoff of Diablo that came out like, that was quickly developed like 6 months after Diablo came out.
They clearly didn't intend to have the many scenes with these individuals.
No.
It's intriguing, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but
so the Tripredacus Council seems to be like some kind of like Predacon ruling body. And
yes, Predacon
to kind of like to kind of gloss over the
Illuminati.
scene. Yeah, basically. To kind of gloss over the scene a little bit, like the Cliff Notes version is they detected the transwarp wave. They've made it so the Maximals won't be able to detect it. And they want to eliminate Megatron because, like, him stealing the golden disc and stealing the dark side. We find out now that it wasn't even his ship. He stole the ship.
Fucking stole the ship.
Yeah.
And recruited his crew.
Yeah.
So big reveal there is that he didn't act with the Predacon's permission.
No. And right? I kind of always assumed that.
Yeah, it's kind of implied that he's a hothead, right?
Yeah.
And the Tripredacus, what are they called?
Tripredacus Council.
Tripredacus Council. They do want to make their move against the Maximals and take over, right? But like Megatron
jumped the gun.
Played his cards too early and jumped the gun. Yeah, and that fucked things up for them because they were like we need to maintain that the Predacons and the Maximals are at peace.
Yeah.
And he's fucking our shit up.
And I think one of them
So-
even mentioned something along the lines of like, yeah, this created a lot of like diplomatic problems for us.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Like imagine like who would say let's say a Japanese or a Russian spy like stealing like what would be an American artifact to steal? The Declaration of Independence, right? But the Declaration of Independence had magic in it.
Russian Nicolas Cage steals the
Russian
Declaration
Nicolas Cage.
of Independence.
Oh god. Yeah, and there's early men's like magic in it. And they talk to each other and they say, we need to send an operative to take care of Megatron like quietly.
I like the one of them is like, I've sent an operative, and he looks over and he's like, you know the one.
Yeah.
Like quite literally, he's like, you know the one. I'm like, okay.
Did you know that you can talk to each other? No one else is there.
I sent an operative. That operative, eh? I sent him.
You know the one.
You know the one.
I don't want to say in case someone's listening and stare at the camera. No.
And
It's interesting that Megatron is like enemy of the state for the Predacons, though.
yeah.
Like they kind of want to take him out more than the Maximals do.
Well, and they're way more interested in eliminating him than like they seemingly don't even
They
really give a
seemingly
shit.
don't even care about the Maximals.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about the Maximals. Like
No.
they just want to get rid of Megatron because he's
So-
basically just been a big headache for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've sent the agent. You know, the one.
And it shows us. Sorry, go ahead.
In a experimental transwarp cruiser, which is a pretty dope looking ship.
It's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Reminds me of something from X-Men.
Yeah, kind of. Although,
I
like
can't remember what it is.
the
The
Blackbird,
X-wing.
the Blackbird.
Oh, it's just called the Blackbird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Blackbird.
There's actually a
Cooler. I like this one more.
there's actually a toy that just came out. I actually saw it at EB Games today. For American listeners, EB Games is our version of GameStop. It's even owned. It's even
by
owned
the
by
same-
GameStop. Yeah.
It's just called EB Games in Canada.
And
It's
Australia.
GameStop, though. Oh.
Yeah, in Canada and Australia. So for
I don't
our
even know
Australian
what it
listeners,
stands
because
for.
we do. Huh?
What's wrong with GameStop? The name GameStop.
EB Games. It was originally called Electronics Boutique. I don't know if you remember.
Right.
Like
You've
in the
told
early
me this before.
Or back in
Yeah.
the early 2000s, it was the Electronics Boutique. Yeah. And then it got rebranded to EB Games, I think, in the mid 2000s.
So
Well, I was gonna say though, real quick, is there is actually a Transformer that is the X-Men Blackbird.
oh,
Yeah.
it's a ship?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's the
Okay,
X-Men
well.
Blackbird, and it transforms into a robot that kind of looks like a mix between Cyclops and Wolverine.
Is that on purpose?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a like crossover product.
Promotional thing?
Yeah. Like
Yeah. that's cool.
there's a few of them. Like I have one called Gigawatt, which transforms into the Back to the Future DeLorean.
Giga what?
And
Giga, please.
there's another one
Am I
called
allowed to say that?
there's another one called
Go ahead.
Ectotron, which turns into
Oh.
Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters.
I should Google that. That sounds rad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If I see it in store somewhere. Apparently it's a Toys R Us exclusive in Canada. But yeah, if I see it in store, I'm probably going to pick it up.
Definitely. That's right. That sounds rad. So what the Predacons do is one of their satellites orbiting Cybertron will accidentally explode,
Yeah.
right? And the explosion from it will disrupt the wave created by the transwarp explosion
Yeah.
so that the transwarp wave doesn't hit Cybertron.
Yeah,
and it shows the viewer this. It's happening on screen as they're talking about it,
yeah.
as if like because it hasn't happened yet, but it's showing that it does, revealing that the Maximals don't know they're out there.
Yeah.
Just the Predacons do.
Yeah, I kind of glossed over a few minutes ago
No, that's okay. I just
that
wanted to visualize it. Yeah.
yeah.
So what that reveals to us is Maximals don't know they're there.
Yeah.
Just the Preds.
Which the visual of it is kind of funny because like it basically creates like a hole in the transwarp wave, so like either side of it goes right past Cybertron, and it's like
The wave is disrupted.
really, is no one looking up right now?
Because it's bright blue and purple.
Yeah, like no one is standing on Cybertron being like, huh?
What, they don't have any other satellites?
Yeah,
Not a single one?
no,
They
like,
don't they don't have moons or like other space stations? No, it just they cut it perfectly.
yeah.
At the end of the scene, the Predocius Illuminati. I can't remember what they're called. The one of the dudes grabs that stupid fucking lamp above them and stopping it from swinging, and he like stabilizes it. And I'm like, why didn't you do that before you started talking?
Yeah.
It's just a weird little dumb thing I found funny.
So we're back
We're back on planet Energon.
back on planet Energon. We're at the Axelon. Silverbolt comes back, and Optimus grills him about the fact that he's been out, and we get the feeling that he kind of
Punches Rat Trap.
we kind of get the feeling that they suspect that Silverbolt is boinking Black Arachnia.
Based on Rat Trap was like, he doesn't know, but he poked fun at him. He's like, oh, you're off to some secret mission, blah blah blah, and he gets defensive and like physically attacks Rat Trap.
I actually like what Rat Trap said, like the exchange here. So Silverbolt's like, oh yes, I was scouting, and Rat Trap's like, yeah, scouting the enemy, yeah.
Is that
Learn
what you
any
call
new
it?
positions? And I'm like, see, like, I don't know that I necessarily would have got that when I originally watched this show, but watching it now, I'm like, I find that
Yeah.
amusing. Learn any new positions.
And he gets attacked like straight up by Silverbolt, and that doesn't feel like something Silverbolt would do.
Yeah, that's the power of love, as Huey Lewis would say.
He, but he wasn't even insulting Black Arachnia. He was just implying that he was off. Implying or probing. Maybe Rat Trap didn't know, but he wanted to see his reaction, and based on his reaction, it's clear that he was right.
Yeah, that's
Like
that
terrible
was my
poker
takeaway
face,
of it.
Silverbolt. Yeah, you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So terrible fucking poker face. He attacks Rat Trap.
He attacks Rat Trap, and Optimus
But
breaks
the
it
thing
up.
is, he's right. Like Rat Trap was right.
Yeah.
So why do you get weird and pissy? It'd be one thing if he was like, no, shut up, you're stupid. But he like violently attacks him.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, Silverbolt being involved with Black Arachnia is kind of morally questionable.
When life and death is on the line.
And it's like, I get it, okay? She's literally the only girl on the planet.
She's hot too.
I was gonna say, and dem titties, you know.
But like,
she's one
Optimus,
of the best.
yeah, Optimus pulls him aside and he's like, I know she's the only girl on the planet, but don't stick your dick in crazy. And he's like, but Dad. And he's like, listen to me.
Yep.
Apparently the Preds are making like, they have like a computer terminal and they're setting up something like right outside the Axelon.
Yep.
Like 30 feet away. I don't get it. A cannon? A tank? A scanner? a cloaking device? Do you know what it's supposed to be?
I think they were scanning the maximal shields maybe to figure out like its weak point where
Okay.
Rampage should attack.
And instead of communicating, and the listeners by now know that Rampage is he's a mega chunk boy with weapons that are vastly more destructive than everyone else's, and armor that is vastly more durable than the normal Transformer.
But apparently even he has his limits, which we will find out later, because he gets blown to shit.
Yeah, he lands and smashes whatever this like computer terminal thing was that Waspinator was working on. And I'm like, well, why show that if he's just gonna smash it? It's to show that he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And instead of like communicating with the team, he just like fires his like triple barrel missile launcher right at the base. No planning, no subtlety. Huge fireworks.
Yeah. Optimus even comments on the lack of subtlety.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Like I said.
full bore Predacon attack on the Axelon. They bring up auto guns to return
That
fire.
do nothing.
That do nothing. They get taken out like right away.
Taken out right away. Shouldn't they have had them up already?
I like.
They knew they were coming.
There's a quick shot of Rat Trap and Silverbolt, and Rat Trap is like, "Man, what do we do?" or something like that. And Silverbolt's like, "Well, given our proximity, I usually would breathe through my mouth."
I actually like that. That there's a Silverbolt and Rat Trap back and forth now. That
Well, I mean-
feels like something Dinobot would
Well, I
say.
mean, Dinobot's dead now, so Scott McNeil needs to find someone else to Raz. That's
Yeah.
also voiced by him.
that was in his contract.
Yeah. He needs to take jabs at himself in every episode.
I need one of my characters to take jabs at one of my other characters at all times.
Yeah.
That's a good joke, though.
Yeah.
What do we do now? Well, given our proximity, I breathe through my mouth. Fuck. That's probably one of the funnier jokes on Beast Wars.
Yeah, at least
Or
in a
least on
while.
these-
At least in a while,
yeah.
yeah. This season,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
So the battle's going on. The Axelon's getting attacked, and
The shields are holding,
the transwarp cruiser carrying the agent, you know the one,
You know the one.
appears in space.
And it's showing the viewer it's invisible, but it has kind of like a wireframe outline to let us know where it is.
If you've seen Predator, you get the idea. It's like
Or
something
Wonder
like
Woman's invisible jet.
that. Yeah. So maximal weapons and shields are failing, and the transwarp ship, the invisible transwarp ship, shows up and starts cleaning house, attacking the Predacons.
All three of them.
All three of them.
Because Black Arachne ain't here.
Well, who do we got
Tarantula's
here?
left.
We got Rampage, we got
Inferno.
Inferno, we got Quick
Rampage,
Strike,
sorry.
and Megatron's here too. now.
You're right. There's five. There's five of them. I didn't. Yeah.
Well, yeah, at some point, like Megatron and Quick Strike kind of just showed up. Like we didn't really even see them show up.
No,
all of a sudden,
yeah.
they were just kind of part of the battle.
And we're here too. Yeehaw.
One tarnation.
Yeah. Inferno's like, oh, I can't see what's shooting at us. And Megatron's
he's-
like, no.
He says, "I cannot see a target for my flame."
Oh, is that the line?
That's a line.
It's a good. It's.
It's a
Inferno's
very
been on the show
Inferno-esque
enough
line.
that's we can say Inferno says some Inferno bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a good line. Yeah, and Megatron notices that as well, and he's like, neither can I. All Predacons return to base.
Yeah. It's time to increase my wager. Shares.
Hmm.
And so they fuck off, and the Maximals are confused about what happened, and Optimus is like, oh, we had help. And Rat Trap's like, no, there was nothing out there.
I had the scanners up the whole time. It's
Yeah.
just us.
And so the Klingon bird of prey decloaks and lands.
Yeah.
Um,
Optimus is like, lower the shields.
yeah, and Rat Trap's like, that ain't no Maximal ship. And Optimus is like, well, if it wanted to destroy us, it would have. Lower the shields. And they don't see anything, and the top hatch opens up, and like we see some like red like laser pointers that like shoot.
Predacon. Or sorry, Predator.
Yeah.
I like how Silverbolt pulls one of his like wingtips out, but like they're explosive. I'm like, what are you gonna do with that, Smith? I always find it funny because some of them, like Dinobot, his only like non melee weapon was his eye lasers, right? But like with Silverbolt, I'm like, it's like he's pulling out a grenade.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you gonna do with that, man? You're in close quarters and you're inside your ship.
So something happens here that even when I was watching this when I was 13, I didn't really understand. So they're all confused about like why, like, oh, what's this invisible dude up there?
Yeah,
and
Cheetor's like, what do you think it is, Big Bot?
And Optimus is like, not what, who? And they're like, what? And he's like, after the Great War, a few Decepticons were granted amnesty. Most have retired. But rumor has it one was reprogrammed and rebuilt as a Predacon. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, thanks for the info dump, but like, why is that where you went with this immediately?
And how would he know? And why would he reveal that information now?
Yeah. So it's like, okay.
Right after he said that, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so like an invisible dude shows up to help them. And everyone's confused about it, and Optimus is just all of a sudden like, oh, it must be this old Decepticon. And I'm like,
why?
Like how?
That's
It's a like
one of those plot holes.
That is a
happen
massive
throughout the
plot
episode.
hole.
One of the plot holes that happen throughout Beast Wars that as a kid you kind of don't give a shit about, but as an adult, or you know, two guys in their 30s scrutinizing every episode painfully, it's a big one. It's weird that he would know who it is and that he would talk about him like right then.
Yeah.
Like, and how does that help them?
Yeah.
It also reveals. Have you noticed that Optimus Primal kind of like knows a lot that he shouldn't? Like, do you know what I mean? Like the goal of one of the secret objectives of the Axelon was to ditch Protoform X, right?
Yeah. He also he spends a lot of time in these next couple episodes being really cryptic. Like, I know it's to like kind of like entice
build tension.
To build tension and kind of entice the viewer, but it's like he keeps being like, oh, if Megatron is found, if this person's going where I think they're going, if Megatron's found where what I think he's found, it's like, you don't need to be that cryptic, especially if it's something this fucking important. Like, maybe just tell us.
Also, how did you know Optimus Primal?
Oh, well, exactly, and that's not even revealed in these episodes. Okay, so listeners, I know it sounds like we're kind of bagging on these episodes, but don't get me wrong. I think these are some of the best episodes of Beast Wars, like top to bottom.
There's just a lot of information that certain characters know that they don't share, and there's no reason why. Like, it's implied that Optimus Primal and Megatron both know a certain arc is on these planets.
Yeah.
Well, how did you? Okay, so they know it's Earth, right?
Yeah.
So that's how they know. But like,
So Megatron
tell your
could have got that info off of the golden disc, although the timeline is a little fucky with that, and I'll mention that when we get there eventually.
yeah. So
Um,
somehow Optimus knows that this agent is
Ravage,
Ravage,
as he's about to reveal.
and he shoots all of their guns out of their hands. Rhinox's rat traps, Optimus Primals,
Yep.
and he descends like the Predator as he uncloaks
Yeah.
and has an evil laugh.
Yeah, he decloaks. He's laughing maniacally in a like very over the top Russian accent, and we see that he is a anthropomorphic robot Catman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a leopard or a panther.
Panther. Yeah.
You will pardon my shooting the weapons from your hands.
So, for those who don't know, Ravage was a G1 Decepticon who was one of Soundwave's cassette tapes.
Yes, he had Ravage,
Laserbeak,
Laserbeak,
Rumble, Frenzy, and Ratbat.
and they all, they go inside of Soundwave, so their alternate form is a cassette. And interesting, but on in G1, they're all small. Like they're really like small. I think Rumble like is about human sized
Yep.
because like Spike's dad like tackles him. at one
Yep.
point. And then after he wrestles with a robot, why would you do that? He's like, help! That's G1 I'm talking. That actually, Spike's dad yelling for help is actually why Optimus loses the damn battle.
We should
Megatron.
we should maybe do like a bonus covering those episodes on this podcast sometime.
Which I noticed paralleled the battle with Dinobot and Optimus in Beast Wars Part 2.
Yes.
Sort of, I guess you could say. Like an homage to it. But anyways, yes, Ravage puts away his guns. And he says, sorry about the intro. I just wanted to avoid any regrettable accidents. And he, holsters his guns.
Yeah, and to kind of quickly go over this scene, basically Ravage, tells them that he's there to recover to arrest Megatron, and that the Predacon Alliance is, deeply sorry for all of the trouble that he's caused. And
Megatron's actions don't reflect the Predacon.
He's not with us.
no, he fuck this guy.
Yeah, and the Maximals are like, well, what about the Maximals of Cybertron? And Ravage says some bullshit about how the transwarp wave was too weak. Only the Predacons detected it, and they want to be as discreet as possible with all of this.
So right away, that should reveal some red flags, right?
Yeah.
Only the Predacons know, and they're keeping it secret so that we can keep this quiet and just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
Is the implication. But if they're in an alliance, they should have told the Maximals right away.
Yeah.
So Optimus Primal isn't a dumbass. He should be going, wait, why is this being swept under the rug?
So why is this being swept under the rug? And after we help this guy, what's he gonna do? Is he really just gonna take us home and be like, okay, do you pinky swear that you'll keep all of this a secret?
Pinky swear that you'll keep it all a promise? Do you swear?
Yeah. It's no, he's either just gonna maroon them there.
Big red flag, and not one Maximal thought about that.
Yeah.
It's we wanted to keep the secret. Why?
Also, I like the fact that Ravage in this is just straight up a Cold War era Russian spy, basically.
Unapologetically, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we here?
Where are we? Yeah.
Optimus says we're in some interesting times.
Yeah.
Black Arachnia. Doing some science?
Yeah.
Doing up the science?
Yeah, she's working on her stasis dinghy. What will be later be revealed to be her stasis dinghy.
She cackles evilly. She's in a chunk of the ship, hidden from others, because we just hear echoing through the halls, because the dark side is huge, right? It was like a warship. You would just hear Megatron's voice echo, "Black Arachnia!"
Yeah.
And
I like
she's
when
like, "Oh,
so when she goes to answer him, she says something that actually like is a thing like I have said to people every now and then whenever they call me. Like whenever I'm
yeah."
summoned. She goes up to him and she's like, "You bellowed?" So that's actually like since I first saw this episode, it's a thing that I'll say periodically if someone like even at work, like if someone calls me over or something,
You
I'll
bellowed.
just go up to them and be like, "You bellowed."
It's funny growing up. Every once in a while, like depending on the situation, I would throw in an Adams Family. You rang. You bellowed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
legit, a thing I say.
Megatron's like, I did, yes. Oh, we missed you at the battle today, Black. Yeah.
Well, since you're here, get to your battle station. And he tells Waspinator that he has a special assignment for him and sends him off to some specific coordinates. And
Yeah.
Black Arachnia hears this and it like is like, "This is it," and starts laughing.
And
So
I'm like, did did he tell Waspinator that on purpose
maybe,
so that Black Arachnia could overhear?
maybe,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. So the Maximals are aboard the Klingon bird of prey, and they take off.
So weird seeing them on a working ship.
I know,
We
right?
spend all this time with ships just being a base.
Yeah. So they're
That it's weird seeing them all like the X-Men inside of this
yeah.
Klingon bird of prey.
Also, this ship is really small. Like I'm amazed it
Yes.
actually made this journey with how small it is.
Yeah, very tiny, like little operative ship.
Yeah. So it cloaks, and Ravage tells the Maximals that the cloak is their advantage, but they also have like one other ace up their sleeve, basically. And an alarm goes off, and we see Tarantulas in some like little like cave lab leap away and transform and motorcycle off.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
then we cut back to the Klingon bird of prey, which is now at the Predacon base, and the Maximals all leap out of it.
So weird why this was necessary. I feel like they didn't think this through. They all have their like melee weapon variants out too.
Yeah.
Like
Which
Optimus has his like maces.
yeah, I'm like just stay on the fucking ship. Like that ship has insane weaponry. Stay on the ship and then just shoot the shit out of the base, which is what the ship ends up doing anyway.
And then Ravage ends up boarding the ship later anyway. Very confusing. They just
Yeah.
wanted to make a cool action scene. And it's funny, inside the ship, the last two Maximals to leave are Cheetor and Silverbolt. And Cheetor's like, as if he's afraid of heights, is like, no, no, no. And Silverbolt pushes him. Like somebody who like is chickening out of going skydiving at the last second.
Yeah.
But Cheetor can fly. Rhinox can't, and he jumped out on his own.
Yeah, and he
That's
just goes
the-
like straight down. Also, the Optimus and Silverbolt to transform, like they don't say beast mode, they say flight mode.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the next episode, Rat Trap says Knievel mode.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I wonder if like I'm like, are the writers just getting sick of writing beast mode all the time? Trying to mix it up.
Man, Rhinox just lands like a fucking boss with Rat Trap on his back. How's that possible? He's a durable fellow.
He's a chonky boy. So some
it's
shit.
kind of like Cheetor. Before we move on, it's kind of like Cheetor forgot he has a flight mode or a beast mode because he's falling in his robot form, and he goes jets maximum, and he slams right into the ground head first, knocks himself out.
It's
I
it's just played up for comedic effect. They had to throw a slapstick joke in there.
Yeah, because his jets go off late as he transforms into a cat, and he flies across the ground and smacks his head in a rock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, you're saying so.
So yeah, a battle goes down. Like, I don't think we really need to go over like every single little bit that goes down. Rhinox takes out Inferno with his gat, and there's a bit where we see Black Arachnia is taking off in her stasis dinghy, and Optimus orders Silverbolt to take her down, and Silverbolt doesn't do it, so she fucks off. And then the Klingon bird of prey, as I mentioned earlier, shows up and just shoots the living shit out of the top of the dark side, completely disabling it.
Yep.
And inside the ship, some like energy restraints get thrown on Megatron, and Megatron's all like, "What?"
Yeah, just
And the Maximals show up with Ravage, and Ravage is all like, "Megatron, you are under arrest."
greetings, Megatron. You are under arrest. In the name of the Pax Cybertronia, which must be the
treaty, yeah.
the treaty.
The treaty between the two of them, yeah.
Yeah, the Pax Cybertronia and the Predacon Alliance, you are under, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned it earlier. Optimus yelling at Silverbolt to take out Black Arachnia.
Yeah.
Was like, I think she's heading to, and he gets hit by like a Waspinator or something like that.
Yeah.
So, it's like, Optimus is the only one. Well, it makes sense that only Optimus would know that. He's older, he's the leader, he knows what planet they're on. Okay, whatever. But yeah, like you were saying, the Maximals won. All the other Predacons scattered. But it seems like they meant to. Like Waspinator like blows a raspberry and like flies away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all purposely abandoned ship.
Megatron definitely has a plan here, and this is part of it.
Like he meant to be caught.
Yeah. So
because he didn't get it from his throne.
Yeah, and he didn't even really like try to fight back or like flee or even flee or anything.
No, so, it's as if he was caught unawares.
Taken unawares. I'm a fool. So Megatron's arrested, and the Maximals are all looking happy, and we get a big ol' to be continued screen.
The Agenda Part 1.
The Agenda Part 1. Done and complete.
Dunzo.
Too much energy.
All right. Part 2.
Yes, the Agenda Part 2. The episode opens with
a stern talking.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty great scene. I think this might actually be one of my favorite Beast Wars scenes thus far.
Really?
Yeah.
So basically, what's happening here?
So
Silverbolt goes to Optimus Primal's private quarters.
Yeah, he's been summoned to his Silverbolt has been summoned to Optimus's ready room, basically, to use a Star Trek analogy.
Yeah, there's a desk there with like different, what do we got? Different like awards or trophies or plaques or paperweights.
Yeah.
But yeah, Primal is like, I don't know what's going on, but it stops right now.
And Silverbolt. Yeah, Silverbolt is basically just like, I don't know what you mean.
And Optimus is like, I'm talking about you and a certain female Predacon.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong, and I'll apologize right now.
Yeah. This is a good scene. Yeah, the voice acting.
Yeah, I think this is actually like some of my favorite voice work in this show from Gary Chalk. Like, I think this is some of the best acting he's done in this show.
Yeah, it's just the delivery of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
Tell
a really
me I'm wrong, and I'll apologize right now.
yeah. It's a really tense scene.
Yeah. And Silverbolt just kind of hangs his head.
Well, that's just prime.
Sir, I believe I can bring her around. And he slams the...
Yeah, he actually
Optimus
slams his
slams
fist
his
down
desk.
and says, "Oh, don't be an idiot." And I'm like, damn. Primal's kind of becoming unhinged here.
He's done with like fucking around here. Like, people are dying.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is serious business.
Yeah.
And what is it? She might be made from maximum parts, but she's Predacon to the core.
Yeah. Yeah, and Optimus basically tells Silverbolt that she's using him and that he's one of the noblest individuals that Optimus has ever met, and that's his greatest strength, and it's also his greatest weakness. So basically, he's telling him he's being gullible, and Black Arachne is taking advantage of him. And which, I mean, could be true. Probably is true, at least to an extent.
Why not both?
Why not both?
She could be like into him, but also, get some benefits from it.
Exactly.
Like, she got the graviton emitter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for the stasis dinghy.
Yeah, so she at least used him for that, which ends up helping the Maximals. Wait, no, it doesn't. Just helps. Anyways, yeah. So he kind of almost loses it. He kind of goes like, your actions jeopardizing like our lives. If we weren't holding Megatron, and he kind of like gets all like tense, and his like he almost loses it, and like his voice kind of like cracks, and like you said, I'm like, wow, this scene, this is the most Optimus has never had to talk like this, so it expands on his character a little bit, and we kind of need that from
I think
Optimus
this is
Primal.
probably one of the most like dramatically tense scenes that we've seen in the show thus far. And I mean that in like a mature way. Not in a like
it's dramatic.
Not in a like oh god, I will destroy you, Maximal. Cheers. No, I'd say it feels very like it feels like a conversation you could imagine yourself potentially having with someone.
And very much like, because technically there is some military structure to it. He turns his back. This is a little bit like Star Trek, right? Where he turns his back to him and he goes, "You're confined to your quarters."
Yeah, and so he says that Cheetor is going to bring Black Arachne in, and Silverbolt disagrees with that and is all like, well, she trusts me, so I'm the one to bring her in. And Optimus is like, fuck that. Go to your room.
He's like, yeah,
no Nintendo.
Shut up and go to your room.
No Nintendo for you today.
No Nintendo for a week. And Silverbolt's like, a week? I might as well kill myself. But he does raise a good point. He doesn't. Optimus Primal doesn't agree, but he says, because she does fancy me, she might show me compassion, right? And I can talk to her and try to bring him in. But Cheetor, she won't give a shit about, and she's fine with destroying. So in the very least, send me, because she won't be hostile with me. And he still doesn't buy it.
No,
go to your room.
And we cut to the Klingon bird of prey, where Ravage is holding Megatron in. He's holding him in those electric binders that we saw him.
It's like hovering up and down his body.
Yeah, that we saw him get
Like
bound in at the end of
magnetic
last episode.
binding.
Yeah. But he's
We
also
get to see the size different. Sorry, go ahead.
But he's also in, like, not only is he bound, but he's also in a cell that has like an energy shield, a very Star Trek like energy shield. It looks like a Star Trek brig.
Yeah, and we get to see, because Ravage is on the outside of the holding cell. We get to see their size difference.
Yeah,
and I think Ravage is bigger than Rat Trap, but still very, like, maybe Cheetor sized.
I think Ravage is probably about the size of a person, would be my guess.
Is he? Yeah. Was he standing next to them? No, he was sitting. Or like, in relation to like Rat Trap or Cheetor, how tall is he? Because he looks puny compared to Megatron when they're talking here.
Yeah, I don't think
tiny.
I don't think we've really seen
him stand.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten any sense of scale with him other than with Megatron here.
Correct. He's either been like pointing guns at him, or he's been sitting down.
Yeah.
In his ship. He's never just been standing next to them.
Yeah.
So based on Megatron, I don't know, Cheetor height, Rat Trap height. He's small. He's small.
Mm-hmm. He's small. SMOL.
Yeah, you knew what I. So Megatron in the scene, he's trying to appeal to Ravage, saying that I did what your leaders were too afraid to do.
Yeah.
I made my move against the Maximal.
Yeah.
And Ravage kind of like levels with him a bit, and he says, the Predacons will have their moment.
But you won't be part of it, or something like that.
Well, he says, I served under the original Megatron. And you have his name, but not his army.
Yes. You may have his name, but not his army.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not really what made the original Megatron. I'd say it's his ambition, his intelligence, like a lot of things, but just defining him by his army is...
I mean, I've seen that show. His army was not his strength.
No. Yeah, and what does he say here? He's like, oh, well, what does it matter if your ship is too depleted, energon depleted by battle to return to Cybertron?
But the Maximals have nothing, no. They were expecting rescue. So
and what does he say? Oh, I have a secret store of energon cubes. Right, that's what...
Yeah, secret store of energon cubes, and Ravage is like, well, I think I will take it anyway.
Yeah. If you've got a secret stash, I'll take it and not release you.
Yeah, and Megatron's like, well, only I know the location of it, and the location is encrypted, and...
All my minions GTFO'd.
Yeah. And then Ravage is like, well, I'll find it anyway. Permit me to introduce Lieutenant Tarantulas of the Predacon Secret Police. And he,
because he's all like, don't you wonder how I got into your ship so easily?
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Who's here saluting?
And this is... We listeners, me and Cal talked about this a little bit off air already, but, like, this is fucking dumb.
It's dumb.
Because, like, Tarantulas has been kind of at odds with Megatron and, like, seemingly hasn't given a shit about his authority, has no respect for him. So you'd think if he was, like...
Megatron could have scrapped him by now. And he'd have reason to multiple times.
So you'd think if you'd think if Tarantulas was really a spy...
He'd pretend to be more loyal?
He'd pretend to be more loyal and agreeable.
Or at least neutral?
Yeah.
Like if anyone following along remembers that he left the Predacons
Yeah.
to go do his own thing.
Yeah, and at
And the
the end of
Predacons,
last
if
season,
you're not with us, then you're against us approach.
yeah, and at the end of last season, he straight up tried to fucking leave the planet. He stole
Yeah.
a transwarp cell from Megatron's ship and like was going to put it in a stasis pod so he could fuck off while the rest of them died.
So if he's a spy for the Decepticons, the Predacons,
Yeah.
then why was he going to abandon his mission? Maybe he's just a really fucking shitty spy. It doesn't make sense. They threw it in there just because, I don't know, they wanted to give Tarantulas something to do.
I think it would have been more impactful, honestly, if Scorponok was still alive and he turned out to be a double agent. Could you
Holy
imagine
shit,
that?
would have blown my mind. And he'd be like, Lieutenant Scorponok reporting for duty. Or Operative Scorponok. And Megatron would be like, what?
What? What?
You're fucking kidding, right?
Scorponok,
loyal.
I gave you more time with the Nintendo 64 than anyone else, and this is how you repay me. You son
I
of a
let
bitch.
you use the Game Shark, for Christ's sake.
And the expansion pack. Everyone else had to play Perfect Dark without it. Yes, all they could do was play that one multiplayer level. But I let you have access to the whole game with the entire expansion pack, and this is how you repay me.
I'm gonna have to write my own timeline. Like Raptorbot Chronicles, Scorponok still being alive,
And a double
Tarantulas
agent.
having been scrapped long ago. It's all coming together.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Tarantulas is part of the secret police. Yeah, the most trustworthy. And what does he say? He's like, a mole within my own organization all this time? And I'm like, but you've never trusted him. He's a bad mole. He left you like a month or two ago.
Yep. Yep, he is the worst mole. So
Megatron looks at the camera and he's like, and I never expected. And I'm like, wait, did he?
yeah, he's looking at the camera in a very like wink wink nudge nudge kind of way.
Yeah.
So Tarantulas is like tells Ravage that he's located the Energon cache, and Ravage says, "Oh, I'll send the Maximals to retrieve it." And Megatron's like, "Yes, you do that. Yes." I'm overselling it a bit.
No, that's literally what he says.
Um,
And now that I'm rewatching this with you, okay. He fucking always knew, or at least heavily suspected that Tarantulas is... He doesn't even need to suspect. Tarantulas' allegiances were never, like, heavily with the Predacons. Even early in Season 1. Like, when, Pterosaur, like, takes over.
yeah.
When he's all juiced, and he's like, Tarantulas, you're in charge. I'll be right back.
What does he mean, you command? I'm second in command.
I'm
So-
second in command.
So command.
And he just fucked off. And kind of the worst field agent ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever. So Cheetor's on his way to talk to go get Black Arachnia. Silverbolt's in his room.
Yeah, and Cheetor says to Silverbolt, like, "Oh, I promise I'll bring her in with minimal damage." Or something along those
I'll
lines.
just pull her hair, and slap her around a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking to him through his bedroom door.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wanted to say I'm sorry about this. And Silverbolt, what does he do? He's like, I'm sorry about this too, Cheetor.
Yeah, and he like punches him, and
Yeah,
he's like, Cheetor, are you all right? And Cheetor is this like,
because he opens his door.
yeah, and Cheetor is like, oh, I'll be okay. Then I'm sorry. Oh, for what? For this. Punches him again.
Hits him again.
Knocks
Jesus
him out.
Christ, dude. I'm a little dizzy. Whoa, another two. Imagine he's just standing here going like, why won't you die? He's like, I'm a robot. I can't get knocked out. What are you doing? And the funny thing is, while he's like pummeling Cheetor, Rat Trap walks by. I
Yeah.
think, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up, and I think he like shoots at Silverbolt and ends up accidentally blowing a hole in the wall, and then Silverbolt flies out of it.
Silverbolt actually takes one grenade,
Oh,
wingtips,
his
throws it at the wall, blows a hole in it, and jumps out.
one of his style hand grenade.
His style hand grenade. And Optimus is like looking out of the hole in like disbelief. And Rat Trap's right beside him, and he's like, I used to be young like that. I'm like, it's good to have a sense of humor.
And
guess.
Optimus is just like, what?
He's like, what? And Rat Trap's like, oh, I mean, looks like we got some trouble on our hands.
Trouble with a capital B. Yep, and
Little
Cheetor.
B? As in, like,
Black Arachnia.
Arachnia's. Oh. Okay, that's not what I thought he meant. I
Oh,
was like, what could B possibly be?
boobs?
Bitch? Bolt? You know what I mean? I'm like racking my head, and I'm like, oh, right. Her full name is Black Arachnia.
Yep.
Derp.
We got there, folks.
Yeah. A is for man. One of the comments on our other podcast, I can't remember, but we were doing like, oh, the ABCs with megabyte, and I was like, A is for ABCs, because I was thinking of his like forces, the ABCs, and that's one of the dumber things I've said on this show. No, it's not. I say dumb things all the time.
We all do, I assure you.
Why are we looking at ants on the ground? Oh, it's a
fire ant hill.
foreshadow. That's the
Yeah.
it's foreshadowing. Something.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
So we got Optimus and Cheetor flying somewhere. They're going on the mission Ravage sent them on to go find the hidden stabilized energon
Yeah.
supply. And I keep forgetting that the transwarp explosion stabilized a bunch of raw energon on the planet.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
keep forgetting that because I'm like, why are they in cubes? Why are they why is it stabilized?
Yeah, but it didn't stabilize all of the energon on the planet. Just
No. Little caches of it here or there.
yeah, just the energon in like certain areas on the planet.
Like the cave that Tarantulas found.
Yeah, I think it yeah, in at the end of Coming of the Fusors Part 2, Rhinox is explaining to the newly resurrected Optimus Primal that he says all of the energon locally was either detonated or converted into stable energon cubes. All of the energon locally. He's like, as for the rest of the planet, well, we'll have to wait for Tigatron and Air Razor's report. So they know energon.
How's that report coming?
Rip in peace, maybe.
Any people listening, I actually have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
It's a week to week wild ride for me.
Yeah, Cal doesn't. I actually remember, but I'm not going to reveal any of that. I'm going to
Show's
pretend
so
like
much weirder.
I'm going to pretend like it's 1997. Yes.
Party like it's 1997. Years before Y2K. So, Cheetor says some Cheetor bullshit, literally.
Yeah, quite
and they fly to
literally.
the cave.
Yeah, he said. He
I
says
can't
like,
believe I trusted a dog.
"I'm a cat."
Next time I see him, one of these days.
I'm gonna shock it to him, she. Shock it to him real good, yeah?
Oh, and he actually does this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you won't, Cheetor.
There's the cave. Let's get that energon.
Yeah, it'll be easy.
And then we can go to the water park.
I can't wait. Ravage seems like such a trustworthy guy.
Right.
Optimus is like, something smells fishy. Pull out their guns and they infiltrate. And it's just like a small, like, little group of crystals. Like raw energon crystals.
Yeah.
Like the tiniest, like, little patch.
Yeah, not even cubes. They've been double-crossed.
Yeah.
And Inferno shows up and says some Inferno bullshit.
Yeah. He's laughing maniacally as he does.
Yep. Yelling out blah, blah.
By royal command, blah, 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 blah. And we get to see Waspinator off on his own mission.
Yep. Going to those coordinates. And Black Arachnia is following him with her stasis dinghy.
With her sky ship. Yeah, her steampunk airship.
Yeah. It's even got like spikes on it and shit like that. And
It's got like a little rudder in the back.
yeah. Like I said,
It's got the handle
stasis
from the
dinghy.
a terror board. It's got one of those little levers from a terror board. Yeah, it's her. And we hear this like loud, like long howl.
I do
we
appreciate how
haven't heard.
jury-rigged looking this thing is.
Yeah, it seems like something she made in a week, right?
Yeah.
And Silverbolt flies up beside her, and he's like, "Ma'am, pull this vehicle over."
Yeah, and they exchange some words about how like Silverbolt is basically like, I think you want to be good because that's what I want you to be. I think
And
you should
she's
be
like-
noble. And she's all like,
I'm not what you want me to be. I'm
exactly.
Predacon.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. It's a cool conversation to have. And he's like, "You won't shoot me." But you have a good point. Like, oh, I think that you are what I want you to. Like,
Yeah. That was
you
my
nailed it.
Yeah, that was my big takeaway when I was watching this earlier. I'm like, Silverbolt is really he's straight up trying to change her. He's like, he has this idea of what she could be in her head, and he's trying to make her become that. It's actually kind of shitty.
I don't think he's doing that on purpose.
No,
I think
no.
He's like, oh, I can see the good in you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not
But
saying
you can't go
he's doing.
into, yeah.
I'm not saying he's doing it on purpose.
You can't go into a relationship expecting people to change,
Yeah, and to be
Planning
fair,
on-
like,
fixing them.
was this like with how common it was in pop culture at the time? Like, was the like fundamental flaw of that mind? Like, was that even a thing people were aware of in the mid-90s?
Yeah, there's definitely like post 2010, like kind of an awakening about a lot of acceptable behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like, did they even realize? But he wants everybody to be good and get along, right? Like, he believes the best of people. And I like her response. She's like, "You need to screw off." And he's like, "I won't." She's like, "I'll shoot you." The
I
way
don't
she
think
says
you
it.
will.
He's like, no, I don't. My heart tells me that you won't.
And she fucking
she's-
shoots him.
She fucking shoots him. He's like, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me?" She shoots him.
And his reaction's great. He's like, "You shot me." He even raises his voice as he says it. He's just so
Fucking
stunned.
surprise. And she's like, "No, duh, dog boy."
Yeah.
And
then
she's
he,
like, "Remember, I'm evil."
yeah, and then he spins it around. He's like, "But wait, You shot me in a non-vital area. Therefore, the inner goodness of your maximal interior is shining through, or some
And
Silverbolt
she's like,
bullshit.
shut up. And he's like, but you can see he's like speaking through pain.
Yeah.
He's like, given that, I think your inner goodness has shined through. It's non-lethal. So, and she like freaks out. And this is great. This is great. And what does he say? He says, I know how you're feeling. You don't know whether to kiss me or kill me.
Which
And
is
I'm
such
like,
a
oh, that
terrible
is.
line.
But it does match certain creatures like female praying mantis and female black widow spiders,
So
who
I
often eat their
well,
mates.
I think his line is dumb. I like her follow-up. Being
Oh.
like, I'm a Black Widow spider, you idiot. I can do both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And
And the kiss, man, what a complicated but great relationship. I love it. Fucking love it. And I love what happens here when they're kissing.
poor Waspinator.
Man, yeah, poor Waspinator.
So
He's
Wasp.
he's on his secret mission.
Yep.
And he transforms and he's like, Waspinator has reached coordinates.
Yeah,
And the viewer sees, go ahead.
dude doesn't get important jobs very often.
This was very important.
He usually like just gets sent off to like go build relay towers or jamming towers rather that
For
end
no
up getting
reason,
like
yeah.
pushed onto, that he ends up getting crushed under.
And
And
so
so he's like,
the-
Waspinator has reached coordinates. Transforms, and then the fucking stasis dinghy like crashes into him, blows him into several pieces.
hundreds of pieces, yeah.
Yeah.
Just chunks go flying, but the dinghy explodes too.
Yeah.
And so everyone's just falling. Waspinator parts, Black Arachne is screeching.
Yeah.
Silverbolt can fly, so
Good thing he swoops in to save the day.
he does.
Fucking Supermans her.
And his little music note comes in, the doon doo doo doon, like the kind of medieval knight
Yeah.
like trumpet. Do 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 do. And she's like, "Oh no, you're not saving my life again. Even after I shot you?" And he's like, "It's my duty." And he does this fourth wall break. He's like, "It's my duty as a Maximal and as a heroic character." And he like winks.
Yeah, I find Silverbolt's shtick is kind of a mix between the like stereotypical like knight saving the princess and Superman. I get a bit of Superman vibes from him too.
He has to do. He has to believe that everyone's good. He has to give people second. He has.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I get that now that you mention it. Yeah. Yeah, Black Arachne is like, I like him big and stupid, but you're really pushing it. And I'm like, okay, so the relationship is it's a weird kind of stable. It's as stable as Energon crystals.
There you go.
For now, yeah. So we go back to the trap that Inferno set
Yep.
for
Inferno.
Cheetor and Optimus Primal.
Inferno, who starts shorting out from the Energon buildup, and
Yeah.
the Optimus and Cheetor are not shorting out. So this is finally confirming, beyond a shadow of doubt, once and for all, that transmetals do not short out from Energon exposure.
They can stay in that form forever.
Yeah.
I don't think they can do internal repairs in that form. Oh, maybe they can. But the rules are completely different for transmetals.
Yeah. So yeah, Inferno
My partner,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say my partner and I were watching this, and he starts shorting out, like he can't fly anymore, right? And he's like, and my partner's like,
Ugh.
does he like pain? And I'm like, well, it's not that he
Maybe.
likes pain. It's that he might or may not, but he just doesn't fear pain. Like he laughs the pain away.
Mm.
He's even like laughing and slamming.
Yeah.
Put him out of his misery, Optimus. Hit him with your fucking mace. Knock him out.
Well,
But
he doesn't
before-
need
go
to
ahead.
because Inferno is all like, for the royalty, ah, ha, 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 and points his flamethrower at the like cache of energon crystals and just ignites them.
Yeah.
And Optimus and Cheetor are like, well, time to go, and they fuck off.
And they fuck off, but here's the thing. The energon crystals start to like overload and they begin to get ready to blow up. And he's not trying to escape Inferno. I guess he can't move.
Yeah.
But like
Too
Optimus
much energon.
and Cheetor, too much. Optimus and Cheetor they have lots of time to get away. They got out in like 5 seconds. They're like nowhere near the blast. So this was kind of for naught. Pointless, I think.
It was very senseless suicide.
Yeah. Maybe he was hoping there'd be more energon and the explosion would be larger. But the show kind of shows like him warp a little before like disintegrating, heavily implying that he's done. Like he's actually dead this time.
That was a weird effect that we haven't seen thus far.
I haven't seen it. How it like warped space.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he dead, presumably.
Presumably, yeah. We've seen him fall apart but not be disintegrated, so
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he'll be back next season, like nothing happened.
maybe he will be a transmetal too and be reborn. No?
Yeah,
Maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess I'll find out.
Actually, I do know, but
You know, but I don't.
and you know that I know that you know that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the mountain explodes and Optimus and Cheetor, Super Ape, and Skycat away.
Yeah. And we're back in Ravage's ship. And he calmly walks up to Megatron and he's like, "So, it was a trap."
Oh no, really?
Really? I love how fucking... And Ravage is like, "You are a piece..."
Yeah. And
Points a auto cannon at him.
Megatron is just like, I know you have no intention of bringing me or any of the Maximals back to Cybertron alive. Which, Ravage.
I don't know why Optimus would think that.
Yeah, I don't know
Either.
either. We mentioned that earlier in the recording.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ravage confirms it. He's like, that is true.
But your crew is scattered, and I want no witnesses.
Yeah. So, yeah, Megatron is like, did you ever wonder why I stole the golden disc in the first place? He's got like
He's
this
got
like
such a smarmy grin on his
Yeah.
face.
And so he recounts the story of the golden disc originally came from the Voyager spacecraft, which was launched at the same time the secret war, as he puts it, between the Autobots and Decepticons was beginning. So here's why I have a problem with that. So the Voyager spacecraft was launched, I believe, in what was it, 1978?
Oh, jeez. I feel bad because this is usually a fact that I can recite. Space probe launched. Google says that it is 77.
77. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was launched in 1977.
Okay.
it is mentioned, and we know this because it's canon, but it's also mentioned, I believe, in the next part, in part 3 of the agenda, that the Autobots and Decepticons awoke on Earth in 1984. So how did G1 Megatron encode secret messages on the golden disc that was launched, like, what is it, 6 years? 7 years? 7 years. 7 years prior to them actually waking up on Earth.
Unless the time, unless G1 happened in the 70s, like, is the timeline for it in the 70s?
No, they woke up in 1984. It even says in the next episode. Like, Black Arachnia straight up says that they awoke in 1984.
Oh, you're right. And if the Voyager probe was launched in 77,
So how did
how did
G1 Megatron encode a message on the golden disc? And not only that, like, the message that he encoded on the golden disc sounds like he was at a point where he was losing the war already.
Farther than 84?
Yeah.
Into the Transformers Open.
Yeah.
The battle with the Autobots and Decepticons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got him. I mean, it's not like we're the first ones to, like, notice that discrepancy. I'm sure the community knows that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that might not be common knowledge. That's a little bit of a... Yeah, and there'd be no way he'd be able to get it.
Yeah.
And yeah. So there's some fudging there.
And G1 is set in 1984, and Transformers the movie is set in 2005.
Transformers the movie that came out in
86.
Sorry, 86 is set in 2005.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like, the Predacons, the Decepticons are, like, they're ruling Cybertron at that point, because it even mentions in the opening narration that the Autobots have, like, secret bases on the moons where they're trying to, like, rebuild their forces. Yeah. And they have Autobot City on Earth. So, like, yeah, I don't know. And Megatron dies in that movie and then becomes Galvatron. So, like, when would he had even recorded this message? Because it seems like
just a little time muck up.
Yeah, because it seemed like, from what we know about G1, and, like, for listeners, neither me nor Cal are experts.
No.
Nor do we claim to be.
We're dabblers.
Yeah, totally. But, like, it seems like the time between G1 and Transformers the movie, the Decepticons basically, maybe not won the war, but they were able to take over Cybertron again. They were definitely in the lead.
When was the Voyager 2 probe sent out? Googling it here. Oh, also 1977.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, because I thought they were close together, but it was launched.
Yeah.
As part of the Voyager program, it was launched before its twin, Voyager 1. What? Whatever. Makes sense to me.
Seems legit.
Didn't know that. Yeah. I did not know that. Okay, no, so whatever.
Oh, yeah, anyway, so
fudging the timeline, yeah.
Yeah,
but
so
that's kind of cool to think about, though.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like I may have been dwelling on that a little bit too much, but
it's interesting.
It's kind of a the timeline's kind of hokey there.
You're right. He shouldn't have been able to encrypt that message.
No. But yeah,
So
so
the tale is he's saying the disk left Earth just after the secret war between the Autobots and the Decepticons began, right?
yeah, and Megatron,
The original?
the original Megatron inscribed a secret message on the golden disc, which Beast Wars Megatron discovered and decoded.
Now, it shows him lasering it in space, Christopher.
Mm.
And remember, the probe went around like Saturn or Jupiter before leaving the system. And they do fight in the solar system during G1, right?
Mm.
So years like here, let me see here. Actually,
Oh shit.
when did Voyager probe orbit? Okay, so it left, went out in 19 enhance timeline in 19 Voyager 1. So in 1981, the Voyager 2 encountered Saturn and began its Voyager 1 encountered Saturn as well right before 1981.
Okay.
And in 1986, Voyager 2 encountered Uranus. 1990, it took that picture of like pale blue dot. Right. So in 1980, the Voyager 1 encountered Saturn and began its orbit around it. Right. You know what? They can go in their ships are implied they can go like fractions of the speed of light, right? I think there's no continuity error because in the scene when he's telling the story to Ravage, the Voyager probe is going in space.
Mm. Yeah, okay.
Look at that. See, people, we're learning things.
I would be interested to know, though, like exactly when in the timeline that happened, because
You know what? I'm gonna make that my project because I'm interested in space. I'm interested in NASA. I'm interested in space program and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find out. Not during our recording, but I'm gonna look into that because I'm really interested in that too.
All right, we'll maybe bring that up on next week's podcast.
Yeah. So Ravage is actually seems pretty intrigued by this story. He's like listening intently, like with his cat ears twitching and his mouth agape. And he says, "Well, how am I to believe you, Megatron? You said the disc was destroyed."
And Megatron kind of gestures to like let him out of the hold, out of his like energy restraints. And so Ravage is like, auto guns online.
Yeah. Aim at the prisoner.
Yeah, aim at the prisoner, and then he releases the restraints on Megatron. And Megatron pulls out from his back pocket that he still has a fragment of the golden disc. And so he pulls out his...
This is enough?
I guess. He pulls
Can
out...
you make a CD work with just a shard? No, bro.
So he pulls out his CD, his VCD player attachment on his dick laser.
Analog. Yeah. His multi-tool.
Yeah.
And he spins it.
Yeah, and it plays a video of
A
G1
holo
Megatron.
vid.
Yeah.
Yep.
G1 Megatron, voiced by Gary Chalk.
Yeah, this is Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. And like Ravage's like mouth like goes open and his eyes like go wide.
Ravage is all like, Daddy!
Daddy. And like you said, he seems to be making this video a little bit later as he begins to lose.
Yeah.
Because he's saying, if you're hearing this, it means I failed this time.
Yeah, which is, like I said, like that's something I'm kind of curious about because, like, the time between G1 and Transformers the movie, the, like, 21-year time gap, like,
Yeah.
in Transformers the movie, like, Megatron and the Decepticons are ruling Cybertron, so it's like,
Oh.
where in that period
Oh,
did he
I see
feel...
what you mean, why it doesn't line up now, because then
Yeah.
he becomes Galvatron after.
And then he becomes Galvatron, like, during the events of that movie. So I'm like, so where in that 21-year period did he feel like it was such a lost cause that he needed to just randomly encode a message on a disc floating on a satellite, or like a interstellar spacecraft, like, floating off into the void?
And how did he know that that would end up at Cybertron? Oh, because that's how they knew about humanity? Because of the Voyager probe?
No.
No. The Ark randomly landed on Earth.
Yeah, the Ark was heading to Earth because they detected Energon there or something like that.
But yeah, so why did he encrypt a message on one of humanity's like space probes?
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, we sent it just off into black space, right?
Go, be free.
Be free. Maybe one day you'll reach Cybertron. So like, what was Mega?
Maybe one day
original-
you'll reach Cybertron. Maybe another day you'll become an energy cloud and encounter the USS Enterprise.
I've seen that. Seen that episode.
Oh, that was a movie, Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Or sorry, movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually rewatched that
Wow,
recently.
It's been years.
I like
It's
it
been
more.
Years.
I liked it more now.
I should
Watching it.
rewatch it. I haven't seen
I
it
did
since
when I
I
was
was
younger.
like 16. I'm gonna rewatch it.
I think the biggest issue that I have with that movie is it feels like an episode of a TV show. Unlike
That's
the
what
rest.
they said episode.
Yeah. It feels like it was originally written to be a 2-hour pilot for a new Star Trek TV show that didn't get picked up, so they just made it
Oh,
into
I didn't
a
know that.
movie. Yeah. But the rest of the original cast movies actually feel like films and feel cinematic, but the motion picture does not.
Yeah, because part of me was like, wasn't that a TV show? No. So, in the the encrypted message before it gets cut off, OG Megatron says, like, we're losing the battle, but this is a message of any of my descendants that may find, and then it starts to break apart. Oh, sorry, and he's like, I know that transwarp technology is being developed
Right.
as we speak.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, we don't have the ability to time travel now, but
Maybe someday. And actually, not to get too far ahead, but in the War for Cybertron Earthrise cartoon, that's actually something that kind of gets alluded to.
I'm so stoked to talk about that.
Me too.
And so it cuts off, meaning that there's a part of the message that, because Megatron has obviously reviewed OG Megatron's total message, And so like Ravage seeing like OG Megatron is just like stunned, thinks about it, and then just lets Megatron go. Because I mean, who's he loyal to? He's not loyal to the Predacon, like the fuck, what was that council called?
The Tripredacus Council.
Tripredacus Council. Like he just saw a message from OG Megatron being like, hey, maybe with some time shenanigans, things can change. So like to Ravage, who's completely just loyal to OG Megatron, he's just like, whoa, this is bigger than anything. This is like bigger than me. So his allegiance just completely like switched right on over to, man, good job Megatron. They did such a good job with Megatron on Beast Wars, and none of his like schemes feel like forced or feel like a movie being like, I bet you're wondering how I did that, and then behind the scenes is all of this bullshit. No, all of his like cunning and his manipulation and his like tactics and his social manipulation, this is, man, they do such a good job. I can't believe
It was actually
he got Ravage on his side.
It was actually a teleportation device. And the original version, but I don't actually teleport. It just creates a copy, and the original version of me gets dropped into a tank and drowned. And there's an entire landfill of just corpses of me.
It's exactly what the Prestige.
Yeah, the Prestige.
That's fucking stupid. That is. I'm sorry, that's just so dumb. Oh, by the way, this actually happens, and I actually murder myself like every time I do this. What?
Why would you go along with that?
Why would other you go along with that? Well, one of me gets to live. Dying. Fuck that.
I mean, I get the copy being like, okay, well, I guess it is what it is, but like you, like the version of you, like the one who's going to die is the one who has to set all of this up. Like, why would that version go along with that? Like, what if one of them like is just like, I've decided that I want to live.
Talk about a throwback. Anybody who's been listening to us like on this journey that's a joke Christopher made on Beast Wars Part 2.
No, that was a joke you made, actually.
Of right when he's like, time for I'll go down with you, Optimus, and he closes his eyes and then he opens them all up again and he's like,
oh!
Just no one else
just
is around.
like leaps away.
I've decided that I want to live. I always get the Illusionist confused with the Prestige. Both like mediocre magic movies. Or were they? I don't remember.
I've seen them both. I don't remember anything about the Illusionist. But I've seen the Prestige more because
I've seen both once.
Because I tend to like Christopher Nolan films, so I've revisited The Prestige a few times. I haven't seen it in probably like a decade at this point.
The Illusionist, he had like a twin. It was like the same gimmick, but different, slightly different plot or something. I don't know. So Megatron's free in the show, and he like walks up to Ravage, and we get to see the height difference because he like bends down to like look into his eye, and Ravage is like, let us talk. And there's a confusing exchange here because like Ravage opens his mouth and like looks up at him, and like Megatron looks down at him with like gritted teeth.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh,
I thought
is he gonna fuck him up? Right?
Yeah, I thought
they do a great job at Ravage's facial expressions in this episode. You thought it was strange too?
Yeah.
And
his face just reminds me of Tigatron.
Yeah, like Black Tigatron.
Yeah, like I swear they're just using the same face model.
It's different. It's noticeably different. But I mean, they're both cat. Well, Cheetor doesn't look anything like that. Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like they took the Tigatron, the beast mode Tigatron face model, and just modified it.
Well, considering how long Ravage is on the show, that'd probably be the cheapest way
Yeah.
to do it. Yeah.
He's in 2 episodes.
Yeah, and
Or 3, I guess. He dies in the next episode.
Yeah, and we almost, because that was like a huge dramatic scene, we cut to a comedic scene where Waspinator is his head is sitting on his own hand, like riding it, and it's like clawing
Yeah, he's
him
like,
along, pulling him. Like he's riding his own hand like a little sleigh.
yeah, and he's like kind of whining about his
He
predicament.
says some Waspinator bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, and we in the background is Black Arachnia and Silverbolt, and Black Arachnia's like,
They're digging.
yeah, she's digging, and Silverbolt's like saying his typical bullshit of like,
And he's like,
I
why
think
would somebody cover this up?
I think you are a good and just lady. Come and join the Maximals. And she's just like, will you shut the fuck up, dude?
Shut the fuck up and help me dig. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay, but right after, we'll join the Max.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, dig.
And and she's like, you see that big rock up there? Think you can take it out? And she like touches his chest, and he's like, stand aside, citizen, I have this. And he just like throws like his like hand grenade things at it, and I'm like,
And stands there like, dun 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 dun.
I am mighty.
And she kind of goes, ugh, and like rolls her. Even though she doesn't have like pupils, her eyes are just like black. You can like tell she rolls her eyes because she goes,
Yeah. And so we cut to Optimus and Cheetor flying, and Rat Trap radios them, and he's like, "Well, I've got good news and bad news." And God, I remember what was the good news?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's like, yeah. So the good news is we don't have to deal with that stinking Decepticon any longer. So what's the bad news? Well, the bad news is he switched sides, and the Klingon bird of prey shows up behind Optimus and Cheetor, with Megatron like chilling out, like right on the nose of it.
Right on the fucking hood of it. And I'm like, why isn't he in
I'm gonna send you a screenshot of this.
2045 with Optimus's
His
mouth
face.
wide fucking open? If I could get a non-blurry image of that, I would. That is fucking great.
It's
huge. It's fucking.
I
He's like, huh? Ah!
I have
But great.
I have the show on DVD, so I might try.
So you have a higher quality.
I might try and like slow-mo it to get like a really high quality version and make it the show art for this episode, because it's so fucking funny.
It's so funny.
So yeah, for the listeners, so Optimus is like, huh? Ah! And then like his mouth just goes like comically agape, like right, and the camera like zooms like right into it.
As he like flees.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah. What was that thing I've posted a few times? No context Optimus. Just the fucking faces he makes throughout the show.
Yeah.
And
They're pretty
Ravage is inside the ship with his like hands on his hips. And he goes, Decepticons forever.
And he
And
leaps
like
up
raises a fist
and transforms into a cassette tape, and it plays that fucking G1 Transformer sound. When I watched this episode for the first time when I was 13, I lost my fucking mind.
And
At this
then
moment.
the Beast Wars heavy metal guitar riffs start playing
Yeah.
as it goes. I can't make the fucking sounds, man. But it makes the
I don't think anyone
OG
can.
some people pretty good. It makes the original transformation sound, turns into a fucking cassette, and he flies into a cassette player in his own ship, and I'm like, and the Beast Wars metal music is playing in the background, and I'm like, I'm so fucking hype.
Yeah.
So fucking hype for this. The way he just yells Decepticons forever. And the episode cuts out with Megatron evil laughing, riding the Ravage's ship with his hand in the air, and he points forward. It's
badass. It's fucking badass.
So fucking stoked. I can't believe how good this 3-parter is.
So good. And
that's the episode.
That was episode 2. So that has been the penultimate 2 episodes of the 2nd season of Beast Wars, the Agendas Part 1 and 2. Unfortunately, due to some scheduling conflicts, we weren't able to record the 3rd part of the agenda, so breaking format a little bit, but the good news is we will be back next week with an entire episode dedicated to the Agenda Part 3, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because this is, it's a big one, and there's a lot to talk about there. Best way to support the show is if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us out with discoverability. Also, check out our website, www.toomuchenergon.ca. The www part is very important because shit doesn't work otherwise, and I don't know how to fix it. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/toomuchenergon, or for our podcasting network, Lasercomb Productions. Just more broad content that we provide. Go to facebook.com/lasercomb. Speaking of Lasercomb, if you want to follow me, Christopher Siege, on Twitter, you can find me at Lasercomb, LAZORCOMB, or for the Too Much Energon Twitter feed at Too Much Energon. You can also follow me on Instagram at Christopher Siege. As I mentioned, we will be back next week with the 3rd and final part of the Agenda trilogy, the Agenda Part 3, which is also the season finale of Season 2 of Beast Wars, so stay tuned for that. I have been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege, and until next week, Beast Mode.
Beast Mode! Beast Wars!